NEC section 210.19 states that the secondary of a transformer shall not be connected to the neutral conductor of a circuit that supplies the primary. This specific situation involves a control panel monitoring a lift station powered by two 5 horsepower pumps wired for 240 volts. The initial wiring was for 208 volts 3-phase instead of 240 volts, which led to the installation of a transformer to increase the voltage. The secondary side was wired in a Y configuration at 208 volts, feeding a primary delta configuration. This setup yielded 240 volts phase to phase but no 120 volts phase to neutral. To obtain the required 120 volts control voltage, a tap was made on the transformer's line side and the neutral on the line side was connected to the control side through a 10-amp circuit breaker. However, this configuration is not legal according to the National Electrical Code. The primary reason for this code requirement is to prevent dangerous overvoltages from occurring on the control side of the panel should a fault or open circuit develop on the line side of the transformer. Connecting the secondary of a transformer to the primary's neutral creates a potential hazard. To rectify this violation of the NEC, there are two main corrective actions. Firstly, you could reconnect the transformer so that the secondary is connected to the phase conductors of the primary instead of the neutral conductor. This would establish a 240 volts phase to phase and 120 volts phase to neutral voltage on the secondary side of the transformer, resolving the initial voltage issue. Secondly, you could install a separate, dedicated transformer to supply the required 120 volts control voltage. This separate transformer must be properly rated for the appropriate amperage and voltage requirements of the control circuit. This transformer should be connected solely to the primary side of the main transformer, ensuring isolation and compliance with the NEC regulations. Let's delve deeper into understanding why connecting the secondary of a transformer to the primary's neutral is a violation and the potential dangers it presents. A transformer is an electrical device designed to transfer electrical energy from one circuit to another through electromagnetic induction. It typically consists of two or more coils of wire, called windings, that are electrically isolated from each other but magnetically linked through a common core. The winding connected to the source of electrical energy is called the primary winding, and the winding connected to the load is called the secondary winding. The voltage and current in the secondary winding are determined by the turns ratio of the transformer, which is the ratio of the number of turns in the secondary winding to the number of turns in the primary winding. When the secondary of a transformer is improperly connected to the neutral of the primary circuit, it creates a direct electrical connection between the two circuits. This can lead to several problems. Firstly, it can cause an imbalance in the current flowing through the neutral conductor of the primary circuit. The neutral conductor is designed to carry only the unbalanced current between the phases of a 3-phase system. When the secondary of a transformer is connected to the neutral, it can introduce additional current into the neutral conductor, which can overload the conductor and cause it to overheat. Secondly, connecting the secondary to the primary's neutral can create a ground loop. A ground loop occurs when there are multiple paths to ground in a circuit. This can cause circulating currents to flow through the ground conductors, which can interfere with the operation of sensitive electronic equipment and create a shock hazard. Thirdly, and most importantly, connecting the secondary to the primary's neutral can create a dangerous overvoltage condition on the secondary side of the transformer. If there is a fault or open circuit on the primary side of the transformer, such as a broken neutral conductor, the voltage on the secondary side can rise to dangerous levels. This is because the secondary winding is now effectively connected directly to the primary voltage through the neutral conductor. This overvoltage can damage equipment connected to the secondary side of the transformer and create a significant shock hazard. The NEC specifically prohibits this type of connection to prevent these hazards from occurring. The code requires that the secondary of a transformer be isolated from the primary circuit, with no direct electrical connection between the two. This isolation is typically achieved by using a separate grounding system for the secondary circuit. The grounding system for the secondary circuit should be connected to a ground rod or other grounding electrode that is separate from the grounding system for the primary circuit. This ensures that any fault current on the secondary side of the transformer will flow to ground through the secondary grounding system without affecting the primary circuit. Now, let's revisit the two proposed solutions for correcting this violation. The first solution involves reconnecting the transformer so that the secondary is connected to the phase conductors of the primary instead of the neutral conductor. This is the preferred solution because it eliminates the direct electrical connection between the primary and secondary circuits. To implement this solution, you would need to disconnect the secondary winding from the neutral conductor of the primary circuit. Then, you would need to connect the secondary winding to the phase conductors of the primary circuit. The specific wiring configuration will depend on the type of transformer and the voltage requirements of the load. For example, if the transformer is a delta Y transformer, you would connect the delta-connected primary winding to the three-phase power source and the Y-connected secondary winding to the load. The neutral point of the Y-connected secondary winding would then be grounded to provide a neutral reference for the load. The second solution involves installing a separate dedicated transformer to supply the required 120 volts control voltage. This solution is also acceptable, but it is generally more expensive than the first solution because it requires the purchase and installation of an additional transformer. To implement this solution, you would need to purchase a transformer that is rated for the appropriate voltage and amperage requirements of the control circuit. The transformer should be connected to the primary side of the main transformer, and the secondary side should be connected to the control circuit. It is important to ensure that the separate transformer is properly grounded to prevent shock hazards. In summary, connecting the secondary of a transformer to the primary's neutral is a violation of the NEC and can create a number of dangerous hazards. To correct this violation, you should either reconnect the transformer so that the secondary is connected to the phase conductors of the primary, or install a separate, dedicated transformer to supply the required control voltage. In either case, it is important to ensure that all wiring is done in accordance with the NEC and that the transformer is properly grounded to prevent shock hazards. Always consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that your electrical system is safe and compliant with all applicable codes and regulations. Furthermore, it's important to understand the broader context of transformer connections and grounding within electrical systems. Transformers play a crucial role in voltage transformation, allowing for efficient transmission of power over long distances and adapting voltage levels to meet the requirements of various loads. The choice of transformer configuration, such as delta Y, delta delta, Y delta, or YY, depends on the specific application and the desired voltage and current characteristics. Grounding is an essential safety measure in electrical systems. It provides a low impedance path for fault current to flow back to the source, allowing overcurrent protective devices such as circuit breakers and fuses to quickly interrupt the circuit and prevent electrical shock hazards. The NEC specifies detailed requirements for grounding electrical systems, including the size and type of grounding conductors, the location of grounding electrodes, and the methods for bonding metal enclosures and equipment. In the context of transformers, grounding the secondary winding is particularly important. This creates a neutral reference point for the load and helps to stabilize the voltage. The NEC requires that the secondary winding of a transformer be grounded if the voltage to ground exceeds 150 volts. This requirement is intended to protect people from electrical shock hazards. The grounding connection should be made at the neutral point of the secondary winding, if one exists. If there is no neutral point, a grounding connection can be made to one of the phase conductors through grounding impedance. The grounding impedance limits the amount of current that can flow through the grounding conductor in the event of a ground fault. In addition to grounding the secondary winding, it is also important to bond all metal enclosures and equipment to the grounding system. This ensures that any fault current will flow to ground through the grounding conductors rather than through a person who might come into contact with the equipment. Bonding can be achieved by connecting metal enclosures and equipment to the grounding conductor with bonding jumpers or by using metal conduit as the grounding conductor. Proper transformer connections and grounding are essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical systems. By following the requirements of the NEC and consulting with a qualified electrician, you can protect yourself and others from electrical hazards. Let's consider some additional factors related to transformer installations and maintenance. Regular inspection and maintenance of transformers are crucial for ensuring their continued safe and efficient operation. Inspection should include checking for signs of damage, such as cracks, leaks, or corrosion. The transformer's connection should be inspected to ensure they are tight and free of corrosion. The transformer's cooling system should also be inspected to ensure it is functioning properly. This may involve checking the oil level in oil-filled transformers or the fan operation in dry-type transformers. Regular testing of transformers can help to identify potential problems before they lead to failures. Common tests include insulation resistance tests, turns ratio tests, and impedance tests. Insulation resistance tests measure the resistance of the insulation between the transformer windings and ground. A lower insulation resistance reading can indicate that the insulation is damaged and needs to be repaired or replaced. Turns ratio tests verify that the transformer's turns ratio is correct. An incorrect turns ratio can indicate that the transformer is damaged or that it has been improperly connected. Impedance tests measure the transformer's impedance, which is a measure of its opposition to the flow of alternating current. A change in impedance can indicate that the transformer is damaged or that it has been overloaded. In addition to regular inspection and testing, it is also important to follow proper operating procedures for transformers. This includes avoiding overloading the transformer, maintaining proper ventilation, and protecting the transformer from environmental hazards. Overloading a transformer can cause it to overheat, which can damage the insulation and shorten its lifespan. Proper ventilation is important for dissipating heat and preventing the transformer from overheating. Environmental hazards such as moisture, dust, and corrosive chemicals can damage the transformer's insulation and components. By following these guidelines, you can help to ensure that your transformers operate safely and efficiently for many years. Finally, it's worth noting that the NEC is a constantly evolving document. It is updated every 3 years to reflect changes in technology and to address new safety concerns. It is important to stay up to date on the latest requirements of the NEC to ensure that your electrical systems are compliant and safe. There are many resources available to help you stay informed about the NEC, including online courses, seminars, and publications. You can also consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer to get answers to your specific questions. By investing in your knowledge and understanding of the NEC, you can help to create a safer and more reliable electrical environment. Remember, electrical safety is everyone's responsibility. By following the guidelines outlined in this video and consulting with qualified professionals, you can help to prevent electrical accidents and protect yourself and others from harm. This information provides a comprehensive overview of the NEC violation related to connecting a transformer secondary to the primary's neutral, the potential hazards involved, and the recommended solutions. It also emphasizes the importance of proper transformer connections, grounding, inspection, maintenance, and adherence to the NEC for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical systems. Remember that working with electricity can be dangerous, and it is always best to consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. They can help you to ensure that your electrical system is safe and compliant with all applicable codes and regulations. They can also provide you with valuable advice on how to properly install, maintain, and operate your electrical equipment. By working together, we can create a safer electrical environment for everyone.